What's good everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to talk about the best defensive midfielders in FC Mobile currently in the anniversary event, and we have three culprits here in front of us. We've got Patrick Vieira, Gilberto Silva and Rodri. We are going to compare their gameplay attributes and we will assign them points just like we did in our previous comparison videos, but this time instead of assigning them points from 1 to 3, I am going to assign them points from 1 to 5 so that we can rank their attributes compared to each other more precisely. And I will be making more videos today and tomorrow, so Saturday, Sunday are going to be a feast for you guys because I will try to cover all the comparison videos in these 2 days, so stay tuned for those videos. But without any further ado, let's start this comparison video. Before we talk about their stats, I think it is worth mentioning that Patrick Vieira doesn't have the skill boost of a CDM. So even though Patrick Vieira is a defensive player, his defensive stats are not as good as these guys, but let's talk about their actual gameplay now. First of all, we are going to talk about their pace, and Patrick Vieira surely feels a lot robust compared to Gilberto Silva and Rodri, but I believe as a CDM, your sprint speed matters more than your ability to accelerate with the ball, and that is where Gilberto Silva shines the brightest. Even though on paper his pace is less compared to Vieira, but when you are tracking back, which is basically the most important job of a CDM, he has to track back, he has to cover a lot of space, and he has to chase down players, and for that I think sprint speed matters more than their acceleration. And since we are comparing the CDMs, I think we are going to favor those gameplay aspects which are going to help them as a CDM as well. And if we talk about Rodri is also almost as fast as Gilberto. His acceleration and sprint speed is almost equal to Gilberto, but Gilberto just feels a lot faster when he is trying to chase down players. So I think for that reason I am going to give Gilberto Silva 5 out of 5 in terms of pace. Rodri is going to get 4 points because he also feels fast when he's trying to chase down players. Vieira doesn't feel as good as these two guys, but he still feels good, and his ability to take the ball forward is still better than these guys. But since we are only talking about the fact that how good they chase down players, I think Patrick Vieira is going to get 3 points in that department. Next up we have shooting, and normally I wouldn't even consider shooting as a really important thing about a CDM, but in FC Mobile currently CDMs do get really good chances and their shooting stats matter. Even if you're playing with a single pivot or you are playing with a double pivot, in single pivot your CDMs mostly stay back, but this game is really weird right now, and in a double pivot a CDM always gets forward and they get involved with the attack a lot. So I think in the current meta, a CDM should have decent shooting. I'm still not going to judge them vigorously on this because after all they are still CDMs. So if we talk about Patrick Vieira, then Patrick Vieira obviously is the best shooter amongst these guys, and he is the only CDM here who has high work rates. So I think to actually complement the fact that he goes forward a lot, I think having good shooting is completely justified. So it's not like as a CDM he's getting some special treatment in the shooting department. I think based on his work rates it's completely justified, and his long shots are really decent, and thankfully all of these players have a 4-star weak foot, so we don't have to worry about judging them based on their weak foot. Patrick Vieira is going to get 4 points. Rodri's shooting is also decent. It's not as good as Patrick Vieira, but it's decent. So I think I am going to give Rodri 3 points in the shooting department. And about Gilberto Silva, his shooting is not as good as both of these guys, but there is something that I would like to add, that Gilberto Silva has the best defensive positioning amongst these guys. He is the last player you would see going forward like these two guys. And I think it's justified that I also give Gilberto Silva 3 points even though his shooting is not as good as these guys. And maybe you guys are still unable to understand why I am giving him 3 points. Just think of it like he has the worst attacking positioning, and for a CDM having bad or low attacking positioning automatically means his defensive work is going to be better. Next up we have passing, and in the passing department both Patrick Vieira and Rodri are really good, but I think Rodri is just a lot better compared to both of these guys. He's also got a playmaker trait, so his passes are more accurate, and he's also got better long passing, better short passing. On paper you would see that Patrick Vieira has more passing stats, but if we talk about actual gameplay, Rodri's passes still feel better than Patrick Vieira. So I think for me Rodri is getting all the 5 points in the passing department. And Vieira's passes are still good. His vision is not as good as Rodri, but it's still decent, and still as a CDM his passing is quite amazing, so he's going to get 4 points in the passing department. And then we have Gilberto 𝗧𝗶𝗸, whose passes are obviously not as good as these guys, so for that reason he's easily going to get the 3 points in the passing department. Next up we've got dribbling, and even though dribbling is not the most important thing about a CDM, it's still important enough because you do get in some duels with the opponent, and you want a CDM that can hold his ground well. So I don't think the actual dribbling matters that much for your CDMs, but 3 things matter a lot which comes in the dribbling attributes, and those are a player's balance, his reactions, and the ball control. Balance and reactions are even more important than ball control, and Patrick Vieira has the best balance amongst these guys, combined with incredible strength. It is so hard to dispossess this guy physically, and the same goes for Gilberto 𝗧𝗶𝗸. He's also got incredible balance and incredible strength, and Gilberto 𝗧𝗶𝗸's reactions are also top-notch. And if we talk about Rodri, then Rodri's balance is not as good as these guys. When Rodri gets pushed to a point, he loses the ball easier compared to these guys, but his ball control feels incredibly good compared to these guys, and his reactions are also really good. So I think if we combine all the attributes, so I think for Patrick Vieira I'm going to give him 5 out of 5 points, because on top of having incredible balance and reactions, he's got really good dribbling attributes, and at times he's able to dribble past some opponents as well, so that is a really good +1 for him. And for both Gilberto and Rodri, I'm going to give them both 4 points each. Next up we're coming to the main topic, the defensive work. And I think in defensive work, the most important thing is defensive positioning, and Gilberto 𝗧𝗶𝗸 is an absolute king of defensive positioning. His defensive work was incredible. He was always in the right spot to intercept the ball. His tackling was on point, his awareness and interceptions were crazy good. And one thing I really liked about this card was when a player was out of position, like for example if your fullback goes out of position, he goes back and literally acts like a fullback. I looked back at times and I thought that doesn't look like my fullback, and when I looked closely it was actually Gilberto 𝗧𝗶𝗸 acting like a dummy fullback there. So I think that quality alone makes him a really top tier CDM. And if we combine his incredible defensive work, his tackling, his interceptions, I think even 5 points are so low for this guy. He is an absolute defensive machine. So to actually make that look good on him, we are going to judge the other 2 guys more vigorously. And if we talk about Rodri's defensive work is really good as well. It's obviously not as good as Gilberto. His defensive positioning is also not as good as him, but at times you will find him in the right positions, and his tackling is also decent. Sometimes he doesn't even tackle. Gilberto always tackles when there is the right opportunity, but Rodri sometimes misses his tackles, or he wouldn't even tackle the opponent. Maybe it won't happen with you, but it is something that I felt, and normally I would give Rodri 4 out of 5 based on his defensive work, but the gap between Gilberto 𝗧𝗶𝗸's defending and Rodri's defending is so huge that I have to give him 3 points to make the 5 points that I gave to Gilberto 𝗧𝗶𝗸 look legit. And based on that, Patrick Vieira is only going to get 2 points because Patrick Vieira's defensive work is not as good as these guys. Say whatever you want. Yes, he is incredibly good with the ball, he's incredibly good physically, his pace feels good with the ball, but we are talking about CDMs, and if you put him at that CDM spot, you wouldn't find his defensive work as good as these guys. I think part of that is also because he has high work rates, and these guys have medium high work rates, so they focus more on their defensive work, and Patrick Vieira also has to focus on his attacking stuff, so I think that could be a reason too why his defensive work is not as good as these guys. And even if you go to renders and take a look at their stats, you can clearly see that there is a huge gap between the stats of these guys, and that is also why you will feel a lot of difference when you play with these guys on the pitch. And lastly, we have physical, and when we talk about physical, we immediately think about their physical strength. And physically, Gilberto 𝗧𝐶𝐸 is the strongest amongst these guys, but it is very close to Patrick Vieira too, because Patrick Vieira is taller than Gilberto, so he feels just as strong as Gilberto 𝗧𝐶𝐸. Rodri is not as strong as these guys, as I also mentioned before when I was talking about their dribbling work, because Rodri's balance combined with strength is not as good as these guys. He can still lose the ball against physically strong opponents, and that is not going to be the case with Gilberto 𝗧𝐶𝐸 and Patrick Vieira. Gilberto 𝗧𝐶𝐸 also got the best jumping stats, and his jumping also feels good. And I think we should also mention their aerial ability. And in terms of stats, aerial ability is divided between defending and their physical. Their heading stats are mentioned in defending, and their jumping stats are mentioned in their physical, but I think we can mention their aerial ability in the physical as well. And all these three guys are really good in the aerial department. So based on these analyses, I'm going to give both Patrick Vieira and Gilberto 𝗧𝐶𝐸 5 points, and Rodri is going to get 4 points because he is not as strong as these two guys. And finally, coming towards the conclusion, both Rodri and Vieira are going to have 23 points each, so it's a tie between them, and it's kind of justified as well. And Gilberto 𝗧𝐶𝐸 is going to be the winner of this comparison with 25 points. And whether you are planning to use Gilberto 𝗧𝐶𝐸 in a single pivot or a double pivot formation, in both scenarios, he's going to be your best defender in the midfield. And if you pair him with one of these guys, I think it is going to be a really good combo, because one of these guys will go forward sometimes, but Gilberto 𝗧𝐶𝐸's defensive positioning and his incredible work rates are going to help him stay back and defend for you perfectly. But in case you are looking for a CDM that contributes in the attack as well and is able to make some forward runs, Patrick Vieira is going to be your guy. If you want a neutral guy, somebody who can defend, somebody who can pass as well, and in case he gets some rare shooting opportunities, he can finish off those chances too, then Rodri is going to be your guy. I hope this comparison is going to help you guys understand how these players work and in which formations and roles they are suited the best. If you enjoyed this guide, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notification bell, because I will be making more comparison videos. So I will see you guys in the next one.